Today I'm going to shoot a video about putting a Corbin seat on a 2018 Yamaha Smax. It should be the same for all Smaxes. I didn't find a whole lot out there. That's why I wanted to shoot this, because it's probably because there's not a lot of people that want to spend $768 on a seat for their, in this case, $2,700 scooter. But after participating in a 2023 scooter cannonball, I knew that it was something that I would consider. And what I did, I'll show you real quick. I've got it set back on here. I've removed it, but I bought like a $35 seat cushion off Amazon and added some extra padding in it. And I believe I actually put it on backwards. It was supposed to go like that, and I flipped it around. I kind of cut foam to make an arc so that it would sit on there and kind of just like flatten out the seat, because it doesn't have to be real long distance riding, but what I noticed is I tended to slide forward on the seat. It doesn't exactly look like it. It actually looks pretty level, but the way this seat is, I would find myself sliding forward. So I was always kind of fighting to like push myself back up, and it didn't really work out all that well. So that's why I did this. Worked out phenomenal, looked kind of terrible, but that's what we went with. So that gets us to today. Jim H., one of the guys from Ohio that rode his S-Max out to the start of the scooter cannonball, he had a Corbin seat. I sat on it. I didn't ride it, but he said he really liked it. It seemed pretty good. It seemed like they'd really flattened out the seat. So I decided that that's what I was gonna go for, despite the big price tag on it. So it arrived yesterday, so I'm gonna crack this thing open, see what it looks like, get it installed, and then over the course of the next few weeks, month, whatever, I'm gonna ride the thing and I'm gonna report back. Well, my initial reaction is that it looks every bit as nice as you'd expect for the money. I'm curious weight-wise. I bet this is heavier than the factory one, but I didn't really change anything. I kind of went with all the defaults, which was the diamond stitching. It's like gray stitching. I believe that it is vinyl on the sides and leather on the top. Maybe this crossover is vinyl also. It was exactly what they recommended. So yeah, I didn't really get creative with it. I just kind of wanted it to blend in and, you know, just work and be comfortable. So it looks really, really good. I'm feeling pretty good about this purchase, even though I have no money left. We're gonna get in here a little bit and get a nice shot of this thing. This thing looks really nice. I'm anxious to take it out for a spin. And it should be really nice for the cost, but it's nice when you spend a bit of money on a product and you get it and you feel like it was a good value, even though it was a lot of money. And so far, that's what I'm feeling like with this. So now, I think it should be a pretty quick swap over. It's got a latch catch in it, just like the factory one. And the hinge looks like it needs to get swapped over. So we're basically gonna start by grabbing a 10mm wrench here, and we're gonna loosen up these two bolts that hold the factory seat in. I can already see it's drooping a little bit, so I'm gonna put this back on the stand, but that's what we're doing, is taking those two bolts off, and then we should be able to swap the hinge over and get the new one installed. And there's how hard it is to take the factory one off. And then there's just 3 10mm nuts to remove the hinge and swap it over to the new seat. Here's the hinge off the scooter and the seat, and these 3 holes right here with studs coming out of the seat and nuts coming from the back were what held it to the seat. And then there's studs coming out of the scooter and nuts that go on the top to hold it to the scooter. So I've got it pulled out. Now in the new seat, it just has threaded holes. So these 3 holes are gonna have to get lined up, and then it came with some washers and 4mm Allen or hex head fasteners that will go through here into those holes. It also came with some extra nuts, I would imagine, to adjust. It says something about using those to adjust if for some reason something's not lining up or whatever. It's got a whole new gasket on it and everything, so this isn't a direct swap other than the hinge. It doesn't look like anything needs to get swapped over. Now we'll get it back on the scooter. We'll snug them down good, and we should be in good shape. So let's see. So definitely takes a firm push, but there again, that's okay with me. Man, it looks really good. And let's hop on this thing. Well, I am angled a little forward just because I'm on the center stand. So I'll kind of have to see, but it seems good. It seems like it's wide. The factory one's wide, but this one seems pretty good. I'm gonna get one shot in here. I'm gonna show you what the front of the seat looks like, because it's not very symmetrical and it's kind of a little annoying. My first impression was that this seat was like top-notch, excellent craftsmanship, and now that I'm looking at the front, it's kind of annoying for this price. I don't think it should look like this, but I'll get a shot of this so you can see what I'm looking at. But definitely going to get this thing out on the road. It's, as usual, it's a firm seat. That's kind of Corbin's thing. They say like they're firm seats, but they're the right shape, and that's what you want, is a firm, correctly shaped seat. And that's what this feels like. It's not like a pillow or anything like that, but if it's the right shape, then you're going to be good to go. So anyways, I don't really have too much more other than that as my first impression, because you just got to get out on the road and put some miles on the thing. I'm gonna hop on the back too, just for the heck of it. I don't know how frequently I'm going to have somebody on the back, but it's nice if the back is also comfortable. And it seems good. It's a decent size. They've kind of got a little bit of a dish in the back, but it's a lot bigger than they have on the back of sport bikes. So kind of funny being a little scooter, but yeah, I think that'll be comfortable for passengers as well as me on the front. So here's a shot. This thing is tilted forward slightly, so if I tried to account for that and turn the camera a little bit, you can see we definitely have a dish towards the back of the front seat of this Corbin seat. So like right there it dips down, and the factory one just didn't really do that. So hopefully long term, I don't really care what it looks like. Hopefully long term this thing turns out to be nice and comfortable, but I am going to show you what I'm seeing here. So if you can make this out here, it's just, we'll try and get the camera centered. It's just a goofy shape. It is not symmetrical. It's kind of flat over here. The center stitch is not totally centered. It's got a bulge right here. I'll scoot back and see if I can get that. And I don't know, maybe I'm being nitpicky, but there again, it wasn't cheap. So I think this gives you a pretty good shot of how it's just a little goofy. It's flat over here. There's a bulge over there. So yeah, I don't know. Tell me in the comments, am I being too picky for $768 including tax? I don't know. I want to wrap up the video on the seat, and it's horribly buggy out here, so it's going to be quick. I have put about 500 miles on the scooter. It's been super rainy this summer here in Minnesota, so I have not been riding it as much as I wanted to, but it has been great. Every time I hop on this thing, I've been very happy at the comfort of it, and it has definitely stood out every time I've hopped on it. It just fits nice, and I never felt like the old one was bad on a short distance, but this one, immediately when you settle into it, it is obvious that it is a much better, more comfortable seat than the factory seat. So that's been great. The one thing that was really bugging me initially, the sort of like non-symmetrical finish of the front there, has not bothered me since. If I look at it, it bothers me a little bit, but it is just not something that has stood out to me. So that really, you know, still technically bothers me a little bit, but overall, no complaints. So I think this was a great product to put on this thing. Yes, it is expensive. It stings once when you buy it, and then every time you hop on this thing, it is just good, and I'm really glad I got it. So definitely recommend it. Getting this thing ready for Scooter Cannonball 2025, and I'm glad I've got this seat on here.